Hey, do you take over 800 milligrams of ibuprofen before 9 o'clock in the morning? Do you drink more coffee than the population of Costa Rica? When you get up from a chair, do you say hooah instead of hooah? And when you refer to the Seattle Mariners, do you say that, hey, they're the only Major League Baseball team that's never lost a game in the World Series? Well, that might make you a member of the Washington Army National Guard, or as I like to call you, the Old Guard. Now, my name is Brian Hill, and this is my podcast, God and Country. And this is where I like to try sharing stories of former National Guard members who served before and after and during the war, Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. My hope is to save some of those stories, but I'm gonna take a minute to share a little bit about me, because you might be wondering why are you doing this? And it goes back to a few months ago. I was celebrating the Easter season and or the resurrection, as the Christians will say. I was participating in a practice called Lent, and it's where you give up some things to gain more of Christ. And I know a lot of my friends on here, you're not Christians or believers, and that's the beauty of this program. We did serve together, and you had my back, and hopefully you think I had yours. And as I thought about the last 20-something years over this period of time, I was thinking about all the soldiers that I haven't seen or connected with since we came home from the war. And there was a lot of amazing stories, a lot of things that we did. No, they weren't, all combat related, the really hua type stories. But there was a lot of you who did some amazing things. You left your homes for over a year. You left your families. You went during a time when we didn't know if we were going to come back. And it was one of the largest deployments in our state's history. And it was the largest deployment of the National Guard since World War II. And there was a lot of you when we came home. Home didn't exist anymore when we got back. It was gone. Either family members left, you were separated, people passed away. There was a lot on our plates when we came back. And some of us always talk about life before the war and after the war. My hope is to capture some of your stories, because there's a lot of you who you served this country not only through warfare, but you served it through floods and fires and natural disasters, and nobody's sharing it. It might get a couple minutes on the news, but not your individual stories, not your memories. And I think when one of our fellow soldiers, Jim Clinton, when he passed away a few months ago, I was crushed, because the first thing that hit me was nobody has his story. Maybe a few of you that were able to make it to his funeral, but that was another piece of our history that's gone. And I know that I've lost over 20 fellow soldiers since we've been home from the war. And so I would like to capture those stories, share them with you, eventually share some things with you like veteran benefits and vacation tips and money saving tips, because a lot of our soldiers out there you are struggling with those everyday things in life, but you no longer have that community that we built up during our deployment, because nothing builds community like mobilizing and deploying for a war. It's an entirely unique experience that you don't get anywhere else. And as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. And my hope is that through this journey that we're going to be sharing tips with each other on how to support each other and continue to improve each other's lives, even though we've taken that uniform off. And my hope is also to share some of that wisdom that you have with the new soldiers that are coming in. A big thing about our time in service, it's unique for a lot of reasons. Back during World War II, 14% of our nation served in the armed forces. Now we're less than 1%. There is at most about 4 million folks that are serving in the service, and I believe that the Army is about 1.9 million of that number. So we don't have the people filling in the shoes of those of us that have left. Now, recently I understand that the recruiting numbers are up, but you think about that. Only 1% of us have been a part of this big family, this big group of people who left everything to protect everything. I joined in 2020. I was a fourth generation logger, mill worker. I had gotten out of the woods, sort of, and was working at Sears when I met a recruiter and found out that I was still young enough to join at the ripe age of about 30. I think I graduated basic training right before my 31st birthday. Within a short period, 9/11 happened, and the course of my life and a lot of people's lives changed forever. But during that time, I got to experience the wisdom and knowledge of Vietnam soldiers who were kind of finishing out their last days in the military, trying to get their retirement. And as we went on and I stayed in, a lot of those folks are gone now. And a lot of you went off to do other things. You started new families, you started careers. Some of you have stayed in and are still in, but I'm watching more and more of you get out and retire now. And I'm excited for those of you who have reached out or have responded to me when I've reached out. I'm excited to get to talk to you again and share your story here on this podcast. You have a lot to share, whether you think you do or not. Does your family know what you did? Do they know about the countless hours you spent getting equipment ready, protecting sites that they're never going to see, guard posts that don't even exist anymore? I know some of you have served on posts that don't exist anymore. So think about the history that's already disappearing in our lifetime. And again, give me the opportunity to let you share that and share it with others, because it's going to resonate with a lot of you. There's going to be those of you that were at the old Fort Ord. There's going to be those of you who remember the World War II barracks on Fort Lewis that are no longer there. There's going to be those of you that remember how life changed when 9/11 happened and those towers were hit. These are things that we have a generation of children now who that they only know it through school and through history lessons. You lived it. You were there and went through it. So my hope is to catch up with a lot of you soon. And I also hope to be able to share things like veteran news, when new laws change, when new how can I put it, things that either take away or enhance our benefits. Those of you that have disability, those of you that are getting ready to retire, those that are, using the new retirement system. What are the things that you need to be thinking about, especially as you're getting close to retiring? For some of you, you have a lot of wisdom to share for once we get out. You have those connections with the American Legion and the Veterans of Foreign War, those communities that still hold soldiers and military members together. I want to hear all that you have, and I'm hoping that you want to share that with the folks that we're going to hopefully reach on this. So hang in there as I work out the bugs. This was a great experiment, and if I only get one more episode, or if I get 1,000 episodes, it's going to be because of you sharing your stories with everybody. So thanks for the opportunity, and as always, thank you for your service.